interest. No, yeah, I'm not, you don't understand.
I know.
Now, you know this.
I know. I know.
Yeah. That's where you get it from, I guess. And she was that. Oh my gosh, it's cold. So cool.
Yeah, it's going to be cold down there. Probably about 60. So. Going back, he's right here. No. Oops.
Come on, guys, go down those steps. We're going to make room for everybody to come down. There we go. All right, you're the very last person. Yes, sir. You want to yes. Thank you. All right, we're locked in for good now, guys. All right, come on down. There you go. Perfect. Okay. All right, folks, we are now officially in Marble Cave, and how I like to celebrate and test the acoustics of the cathedral, and while we call her that, I'm going to count to 3 and I want a loud yeehaw. And everybody, guys, it'll be fun. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw! Folks, take my word for it, the acoustics in this room is pretty amazing. Now, we're at the very top of the cathedral, of course. Guys, about 200 feet tall, 200 feet wide, almost 400 feet long. We could put a 20-story building right inside this big room. We could even go as far as to take the Statue of Liberty. Folks, if we get the Statue of Liberty in the cave, set her down in the very bottom, her torch would stick right up through the only known natural entrance to this cave. It's this 94-foot sinkhole that we just came down into. Folks, for thousands of years, this is the only way you came in the cave, and this is the only way you went out. The very first people that discovered this hole in the ground up above dates back hundreds of years ago, when the Native Americans, the Osage Indians, used to roam the land above us. When they were on a hunt one day, they were on horseback. When they rode up to the top of that sinkhole up there and discovered it, they could look down from up there and see nothing down here. At the time, it was completely dark. But the Native American Indians up there could hear strange noises coming from down here. They could hear water dripping. They would see bats flying in and out of this sinkhole. And even on a cold day while they were hunting, sometimes they would feel warm air rising from this cave. The Native American Indians back then were very superstitious and thought that this cave was a pretty evil place. So the Native American Indians named this cave the Devil's Den. It was called the Devil's Den for hundreds of years. Native American Indians even went as far as to carve out sideways V's on trunks of trees that encircle this hole in the ground up above as a sign to warn other Native American Indians of the danger. And to this day, folks, we have never found any Native American Indian artifacts down in our cave. Apparently, the Native American Indians must have been just too terrified to come down here and explore. Now, we're not too terrified, are we, guys? No. Oh, that's a great answer, guys. I don't always get such a good answer. Folks, we are going to go from here to the very bottom of the cathedral, and that is our next stop, the very bottom. What's waiting for us down there right now, guys, are very nice cave photographers. They're going to quickly take pictures of our families, our groups, and our couples. As soon as we get all the pictures taken, I could talk more about the cathedral and more about where we're going next. Now, before we get going, guys, right here, Yes, that is a hard metal railing underneath those steps, only put there for our taller guests to test to see how hard their noggins are. Also, guys, those handrails, that's important. Use those as we descend down. Also, guys, this is the point of no return. What that means is if any one of you good folks here, say you looked down, you looked up, you looked around, you're a bit freaked out about this, and you don't want to do my tour, and sometimes that does happen, or maybe you need to make an emergency run to the restroom. This is your only chance to bail out of my tour. And folks, what that means is as the rest of us go down the stair tower, you or whoever that needs to bail can go up those steps, go through the cave door. I just ask that you shut the cave door behind you, go back up into the park, and maybe try another tour another time. Folks, I assure you, we won't laugh at you till that door shut. Guys, we probably won't laugh. But guys, if you do remain with me, you have to remain with me to the very end of the tour. Everybody got that okay?
Yeah.
Are we ready to go see more of the cave?
Yes.
Let's go do it, guys. Follow me down. All right.
Really made.
Guys, I am 5 feet tall. Guys, I'm so chubby. I'm 5 feet tall.
And I'm 10.
Okay, so I'm 5 feet. 5 feet tall.
Enjoy the sound of the cake.
Avoid. I want to go all the way and find gold. I don't want to find gold. I want a bag. I want to get
Almost there, Nora. Almost there. It's funny how you're getting faster, we're getting to the end. It wasn't too bad. I bet this ices up in the winter. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of slick, man.
You look like a mother soul.
Yeah. Formed over millions of years.
Big cave.
The dinosaur could have been like, you know, the fact that the dinosaur. Go see the dinosaur could be an Indian artifact. Something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm falling.
this?
Hmm?
They already found it like this? Or they have to...
Well, they had,
It's already like this, right?
yeah. Yeah.
All of us? No, let me get a There's two of you guys. Yeah. Wait,
No, I'm not.
How many is in you guys' group?
Two.
Wait, right here.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You guys.
Oh my God, it was like take a picture. They don't... Oh, sorry.
The cable car probably won't work. We'll have to come back and climb up.
No. Somewhere.
No, she told us.
What?
She told us if the cable car don't work, you have to come all the way back
Oh,
and go up that way.
yeah.
That's a long climb
If the
up.
train
man.
doesn't start.
It's a long climb up.
I know. Is this
Leg-
like
legs
this when
would
they
be,
found it? When they found it, it's like
They
this
added this.
already. Or
No,
have
they
to
added
carve down.
they followed the same path that those picture of the mules, the
yeah.
track. That's what they did, and then that's where the ladder was at. The guys had a wooden ladder. They climbed down,
Oh my God.
climb up. The miners.
Yeah.
They had
That's
this
the
thing that
only-
lowered down, this bucket thing that lowered down. They'd throw what they mined into it, and then they'd pull it up through that other hole right there.
Oh my God.
Guys, we got all the pictures taken. Let's get everybody in this area right here. Bunch up right here, folks. So we can talk more about the cave, more about where we're going next. And I'm going to stop everybody for right now, right here. Thank you. Okay, folks, that's the cathedral room that we're in right now. This is the largest cave entrance in the United States. Guys, let me give you an example of how big this room actually is. 1994. Marble Cave here celebrated 100 years of doing cave tours. Guys, that's 100 years of doing what we're doing right now. And how we celebrated in 1994, we didn't fly one, we didn't fly two. Folks, we flew 5 full-size hot air balloons in the cathedral room at the same time to see if we could accomplish that. And folks, what we accomplished is it set the Guinness Book of World Record for 5 hot air balloons flying at the same time underground, subterranean. Guys, I have pictures of those balloon flights when we get off the train at the end of my tour. You check them out, they're pretty fascinating. Now we're going to go way, way back, guys, to 1889, where it all got started. There was a fellow by the name of William Lynch. William Lynch is from Canada. William read the newspaper about this cave, and he eventually bought this cave, sight unseen, for $10,000. And his plan was to move himself and his 2 daughters from Canada down to the Ozarks here and get the cave opened up for cave touring. And in 1894, folks, William eventually got this opened up. But guys, 1894, William did not start out with that stair tower. He had none of the walkways, none of the steps, none of the lights, guys. Okay, folks, we have a surprise for you guys. I'm going to count to 3, and I want a very loud Merry Christmas. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas!
Guys, that's the largest tree on park. The problem is it's under the park. Took us cave guys a few hours to put that together. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. All right, we'll continue on. I'll leave that up a little longer. First, guys, when William opened up in 1894, instead of that stair tower, you guys had to come down a 70-foot wooden ladder instead. Guests like yourselves, when you came to the cave back then, you paid 25 cents up there. They would give you these coveralls to put on. These coveralls had leather patches sewn to their backside. So when you put those on, you had to descend down a rope down through the sinkhole. Then you landed on the platform up there, and down the ladder you went. When you got to the top of that debris pile, you got on your backside. And you had to scoop and slide yourself very carefully all the way to the bottom here. When you got to the bottom, you probably met William. William would give you a candle. He would light your candle, you would take your candle, off you went exploring all through the cave, folks, with just a candle. When you got done exploring, you came back to this same spot, you gave the candle back to William, and in exchange to help you get out of here, William would give you a pickaxe. Guys, you had to use a pickaxe to work your way back up the debris pile, then up the ladder, up the rope, and out you went back in 1894. Who wants to come back next week and try that? All right. Guys, when you came to the cave back then, or even right now, you probably got a good look at this. This is one of many of our calcite formations we have here at the cave. This particular calcite formation, we call it today the Liberty Bell. And guys, we call this the Liberty Bell. It's kind of shaped like a bell, and it has tracks like the Liberty Bell also. But folks, this is hollow inside. There is a hole in the side of this where we can put about 6 or 7 of you good guests inside this. Now, the Liberty Bell thousands of years ago used to be attached to the ceiling way up there as a stalactite. Till it got so big and so heavy, it eventually broke loose from the ceiling, came crashing down, fell back, and now it's been growing as a stalagmite ever since. That's a very unusual calcite formation. Now over here we have another calcite formation, folks. We call this one the Sentinel. Now the Sentinel is actually part stalactite that started its growth from the ceiling down. A stalagmite that started its growth from the ground up. Eventually these two met in the middle right there, fused together to become what we call today a column. That's kind of what we call them, guys. We call this the Sentinel because this is the only column that seems to be supporting the ceiling above our heads right now. You guys aren't believing that, right? No. Good answer, guys. I'm not believing it either. It's holding something up, but it's definitely not the ceiling. Now, guys, behind you guys see that light up inside that room back there, guys? We call that room the Mammoth Room. We call that room the Mammoth Room because that's the second largest room here at Marble Cave. And if you do the lantern tour, you get to go way up in there. Now, what's interesting about the Mammoth Room, folks, it houses most of our sleeping bats. Guys, we could have up to 30,000 bats hibernating in the Mammoth Room right now. And yes, folks, most of our bats in the cave are well into their hibernation. Folks, can someone here tell me, why are bats having to hibernate right now? What's the deal about that?
No clue.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What do bats normally eat in the Ozarks here? That's right, bugs and mosquitoes. Guys, one bat can eat half its weight in bugs and mosquitoes in one night. That's why we love our bats here in Silver Dollar City. But the reason they're hibernating through the winter is because there are no bugs and mosquitoes flying around during the winter months. So they have to sleep like bears do through the winter. And I guarantee you, this spring, as it starts to get warm out, our bats are going to wake up. They're going to fly out the Mammoth Room, fly up and out the sinkhole this summer, and they're going to fly over Silver Dollar City, and they're just going to suck all our blood. No, mosquitoes, guys, right? Bugs, mosquitoes, right. I got to get back. I'm still on the Halloween thing. Guys, anyway, we're going to go through our first passage. It's the Serpentine Passage. Serpentine Passage has low ceilings. Folks, from here to the end of my tour, many, many places that you could bump your head on a rock. Please don't do that. And if you folks are ready, let's continue on. Let's see more of the cave. Come on.
See, this is more than 6th grade.
Yeah.
Almost come away, see all. That's the shit over again.
Yeah. They're not.
Guys, do you want any further? Guys, get everybody out of the passage right there. Thanks, folks. All right, perfect. All right, guys, I know you guys, a bunch of you folks, since, when we asked about who's been on the cave tours before in Marble Cave, can anyone here tell me, what do we call this particular room? What do we call this room?
Shoe room.
That's right, guys, that's exactly right, the shoe room. Why do we call it the shoe room? Because of this natural flat ceiling above our heads. It's in the shape of an oversized shoe print. Guys, we have the toes of the shoe print there, the arch of the shoe print there, of course the heel way back up in there. Notice little athlete's foot going on right there. Guys, I hate that. Folks, anybody has a cell phone that is on, anything that emits any light, let's switch everything off temporarily till we get to my story time, then you can switch everything back on here in just a bit. Guys, bear with me a little bit, folks. A little bit of a history lesson about the very first documented trip in the cave and how it went. Guys, we're going to go way, way back to 1869. Guys, there was a fellow by the name of Henry Taylor Blow. Henry was a lead miner working up in St. Louis at a lead mining company. His lead mining company up there in St. Louis heard about the Devil's Den and wanted poor Henry to come down into the cave for the first time and look around here for lead and iron. So Henry rounds up a few of his friends up there in St. Louis. They get on horses. They take a few days to ride. When Henry and his men get to the very top of that sinkhole up there, folks, Henry and his men take a tree to the ground. They take the trunk of that tree, throw it over the opening of that sinkhole up there. They tie a rope to that tree, and they descend themselves very carefully 200 feet into the cathedral room. That was very dark at the time. So what do you think Henry was using to see with when he first came into the dark cave? What do you think, guys?
A lantern.
That's right, an LED lantern. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, he used a very primitive oil lamp. Henry documented everything. He had a journal with him, and he wrote down his experience in the journal. Now, guys, did Henry back in 1869, did he have any of this light and electricity waiting on him?
No.
Of course not. You think we should kind of fix that? Make it look like how Henry came in when he came in the cave. So anyway, Henry and his men come into the cave, and they're looking around. They eventually work their way into this room like we are right now. But guys, 1869, Henry was not able to go down this passage. Because at the time, this passage right here, completely blocked, almost to the ceiling, with some of the blackest, nastiest, stickiest, smelliest stuff. Henry's not able to go this way. So Henry walks over here to this ledge. He would like to see more of the cave. Henry stands at this ledge. He holds his lamp over the ledge to see if he can see the bottom, and he cannot see the bottom. So Henry realizes pretty quick he's not going to risk his life to try to go any further into the cave from here. So before Henry and his men leave this room and go back out the way they came, Henry and his men look up. They notice the very flat ceiling above their heads. They notice the size of the ceiling and the colors of it and all. Now, Henry worked at a mine many years before that used to mine marble. And Henry was positive that this was just another marble ceiling above his head. He's seen this many times. But Henry and his men weren't looking for marble, were they? No, they were looking for lead and iron, and they never found any lead or iron in the cave. They ended up eventually leaving the cave. They went back up those ropes. They got back on their horses. Henry and his men rode back to St. Louis, pretty disappointed. But word spread like wildfire. There's a cave in southern Missouri that housed a lot of precious marble. They actually started to call this cave. They named this cave Marble Cave, M-A-R-B-L-E. Locals here in the area heard about the cave having all this marble in it. Some of the locals that lived around here wanted to get rich. Some of the locals eventually pulled together $50,000. And they started to build the very first marble cave mining and manufacturing company right above us where Silver Dollar City sits today. At the same time, they started to build a general store, a pottery shop, a hotel, even a saloon up there. And they named that little town as they were building it Marmaros, which is Greek for Marble City. Anyway, folks, as the mining company up there was nearly completed and the miners up there were ready to come down and mine all this marble, the president of the mining company up there decides that it might be a good idea if he were to hire a geologist. Now, for some of us guys, what's a geologist study? That's right, mostly rocks. So they hire a geologist, they tell the geologist all about the marble in the cave, and they want him to come down and take a good look at it. So, and also look for anything else that might be valuable down here. So that geologist, he comes in the cave, he comes into this room, he's carrying a long ladder with him, he sets up the ladder, and he goes up that ladder, and he's taking a good close look at the ceiling. And it doesn't take him very long to realize that this is not even marble, that this is just worthless limestone, like most of the worthless limestone here in the cave. But that geologist, while he was down here at that same time, he also noticed all the black, yucky, sticky, smelly stuff piled all over the cave floor everywhere down here. Guys, what are we talking about? Bat guano or bat poo, same thing. Because for thousands and thousands of years, guys, our cave here housed thousands and thousands of bats before we started doing cave tours. So there was a lot of guano piled all over the floor down here. Anyway, the geologist, he determined that this is not marble and had to go back up and tell the company president the bad news. And let me tell you, folks, the company president up there, he could not believe his own ears when his geologist is telling him that he found no marble at all while he was down in the cave. What are you guys thinking he says to him? The company president up there couldn't believe that they just spent all this money to mine marble and there wasn't any marble. He didn't know what to do. That's when the geologist up there says to him, hey, there is something I did see down in the cave that you have a lot of down there that is very valuable. It's all that bat guano you have. Because folks, back then, bat guano went for about $700 a ton. And that was a lot of money to them back then. Folks, what are the two things they produced with bat guano? When they mined that stuff, what were they using it for? Fertilizer and gunpowder. Guys, believe it or not, gunpowder and fertilizer, because bat guano has high amounts of ammonia nitrate in it, perfect for making dynamite with. It also made a great fertilizer for crops. Now, guys, I shouldn't be telling you this, guys. I know a lot of you have been already on the tour, but I bet you haven't heard this one. And this is pretty... Anyway, guys, let me tell you about this. Silver Dollar City is a big company. Big companies are always looking for ways to save money, right? Well, Silver Dollar City found another use for the bat guano down here, guys. And they discovered this a few years ago, and they're still using it today. There's a worker up there that comes into the cave every morning. They come down into the cave, and they're scooping up bat guano, filling up large metal buckets, guys. When they fill these metal buckets, they would take that bat guano back up into the park. They would freeze dry that bat guano up there and sell it to you good folks. As chocolate Dippin' Dots. Now you know how they're made, guys. Don't tell on me. I wasn't supposed to tell you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish my story. We'll get going, I promise you. Guys, anyway, that's what the miners had to do. They had no choice. They had to mine the bat guano. There was no marble in the cave. So the miners were forced to come in the cave, and they're scooping up bat guano, filling up large metal buckets with bat guano. They would fill these metal buckets up and hoist them right up and out the sinkhole. They did that again and again for about 4.5 years, guys. And they made a lot of money doing it, almost $500,000 just mining bat guano out of this cave. But folks, when all the bat guano was completely gone out of the cave, and those poor bats were pretty pooped out by then, the cave down here dried up. There was no more money for the mining company to make down here anymore. So the mining company up there, folks, went out of business. Little town of Marmaros, everybody moved away up there. Guys, all that up there sat empty, turned into a little ghost town. for a while. Till the Canadian fellow I told you about earlier, William Lynch, came along and bought the cave from the mining company. Folks, that's when William changed the name of the cave. From what they used to call this cave, Marble Cave, to what we call her today, because everybody that came into the cave after William opened up the cave to him always told William how marvelous this cave was. So he changed the name to Marble Cave. The guy's 1894. You remember those days back then? You heard about a cave that opened up for cave exploration, and you wanted to come and have some fun. So you probably came down into the cathedral. You probably met William. Again, William would give you a candle. He would light your candle. You would take your candle, and all.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, that's, yeah.
Let me tell you, this is making myself better. That's why.
Jesse, this cannot kill them. I found another dinosaur. Where? Right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Found a dinosaur.
That's 4 dinosaurs.
There's the one whenever we first came in.
Yeah, I counted that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the one outside the cave.
Oh, so 5?
Yeah.
Take a look out.
I'm looking for dinosaurs. Oh my.
See,
Yeah.
my neck hurts.
Do you have to duck to this?
Yeah.
All of it? Heads up, please. Heads down, I meant.
Do you have me to check?
Yeah. Guys, we need to go look at the dinosaurs. Hey, I'm staying over here.
Hold that. It's recording.
Anybody have a question while we're waiting for the rest of the folks to show up? Well, it's actually 58 to 60 degrees all year long down here. That is all the time, guys. That is what they're Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys might have done a half tour. If you came to Marble Cave, and the Cave City Cave was flooded, which it does flood a lot, when we get a lot of rain here in the Ozarks, we're gonna go to the shoe room, turn around and go back out. You probably won't see, the waterfall if you did a half tour. All right, folks, you guys here right quick, you guys want to talk about this. Folks, that is the very bottom of the largest calcite formation we have here at the cave. It's called Blondie's Throne. Guys, when we go up these steps here in a little bit, we're going to get a good close look at Blondie's Throne. She's huge. Now, folks, calcite formations like the Liberty Bell, the Sentinel, calcite formations in any cave, they grow at a very, very slow rate of only about 1 cubic inch. 1 cubic inch every 100 years. So they estimate that Blondie's Throne is well over 300,000 years old, and our cave is much, much older than that, guys, yes. Okay, guys, we have a cable train ride to get on here in a bit. Yay for the cable train ride! Hopefully it's working. It should be. Now, folks, they installed our cable train after they blew the train tunnel out in 1958. They did that to make the tours here at Marble Cave much easier. It was a game changer for Marble Cave. Now, our cable train is 3 cars long, designed for 45 guests. Guys, I'm going to count you guys out, 15 guests in each car. Guys, when you enter the train, I need to have 3 guests to a seat. No lap sitting unless you have a small child. And guys, and hopefully we'll get out of here, guys, okay? All right, here's how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to get up to the train and see Blondie's Throne while we're doing it, guys. We're going to go up the Huff and Puff staircase. That's a little bit of an ascent. But guys, that's not bad. This is what's bad. You guys see that rock hanging right over those steps? That's called the noggin knocker for good reason. So don't hit your head on that, guys. Now let me warn you folks, there's a second rock just beyond that one, and it's called the Rock of Many Names. So don't hit your head on the second rock. So if you guys are ready, let's go up the Huff and Puff. We'll check out Blondie's Throne as we go out, and we'll load the train, everybody. Come on.
Where's it going?
Yeah, that's right. That's the first one. Yeah, that's the first one, buddy. Yeah, here's the next one. That rubber right above your head. Okay?
Yeah,
What happened, Robert?
I didn't really say it in my head.
You say it happened.
But then bringing up the rock.
Yeah, I see.
My name. I will have some poop, but
Watch your head.
Hi, Daddy.
Bye, Daddy. Daddy, it's in here. Careful. It's in here.
Right with you, Lord.
They are going up the stairs.
If anybody wants to dive into the third floor, you guys can. Yep, when you're right in there, guys, right here. Just go to the first seat, guys, all the way to the top. We'll load from front to back, everybody.
He thought it came from your side.
They don't want to climb up for you.
Guys, if that gets full, there's probably room in the second floor. You guys want to go to the second floor? Three seats over here. Hold on to the second floor. I think this one's over the
This is recording?
Yeah. Yeah, hold it up. Understood.
Do you have any tissue? Do you have any napkins or anything? And your, no?
I think I meant to bring them, I forgot.
Like my nose.
Guys, go up to the first floor, second floor, seat, Oh, it did, yeah, probably be jumping around on this thing. Guys, just remain seated till we get to the top, everybody. I'll release this chain when we get there. All right. Okay. Yes, we are. We're doing it. All right, guys, just remain seated till we get to the top, everybody. Thank you, folks. Okay, folks, if everybody can hear me okay. Guys, while I'm getting the train ready to get us out of the train tunnel, folks, when we get off the train up top at the train platform, when we get off, I do have pictures of the hot air balloons. I have a lot of pictures of the cave that some of you guys might be fascinated in looking at. I'll visit with you as much as you want. Any questions, hit me up. Also, guys, if you enjoyed my cave tour, guys, if you think I did a good job, there's a place to leave me a little appreciation, a little love, guys. It's called gratitude. There's a place up there to leave me some gratitude. Any gratitude left me is very, very helpful to me, but it is never, never expected, guys. Okay, let's see if we can get out of here. Sound good?
Where is that mean? Street?
RJ, hey, I'm working the train tunnel clear ready. Thank you, buddy. All right.
It's not up to
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do. All right, folks, we did get permission to blast off, and that's a good thing. But do you guys know that this used to be the fastest ride at Silver Dollar City? When it was the very first only ride. That's right. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Sound good? 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Hey, there we go. system detects we stop on these tracks for any reason. That braking system is going to clamp down, bite down hard to the tracks underneath us, and it's going to hold us in case something bad were to happen. We don't want this train rolling back into the train tunnel, do we? And I am riding on the back of this train, so I'm not liking that either. Now, roll cable train operates off a counterbalance system. Here in a minute, you're going to see another train go by you guys on your left-hand side. As that train goes by you on your left, it's actually pulling us up at the same time. I call that empty train going by us on your left the ghost train, because no one is operating it. Runaway train. Well, folks, coming up on your left-hand side here in a minute, you're going to see a big pile of railroad ties, railroad timbers. Guys, we were 300 feet below the surface, right underneath those railroad ties in the shoe room. 300 feet below the surface in the shoe. And folks, straight ahead of us, to the right, there's Delilah's Bakery, where they get the yummy cinnamon rolls and good coffee. Folks, while you're in there and Delilah's getting something good to eat, guys, let me tell you this, the cathedral room sits right underneath the bakery. You guys should know that. Hey guys, those cave photographers gave us a nice photo. Those pictures will be available when we get off the train, so do check those out. And folks, I want to wish everybody on my tour the very best rest of your day at Silver Dollar City. Guys, you guys deserve a great day. I had a lot of fun with you folks. Thanks for going to my tour, everybody. Now, coming up on your left-hand side, that is RJ. Now, RJ is another cave guide, and he's responsible for getting us out of the train tunnel and saving our lives. But guys, I'm going to count to 3. Let's yell out, thank you, RJ. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, RJ.
All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you, RJ. Guys, just remain seated. I'll get up to you, and I'll get you out here in just a bit. Hang on.
Impeccable timing.
Thank you,
Bob
bud.
and I literally, the cave time just
Hey,
stopped
guys, watch your head, watch your step,
to
everybody.
let us
Come on
off.
out, guys.
We just finished the cave.
Watch your
It was good. It was good. Abby and Jen are waiting on us. No, they can walk in this stuff.